All right, we're finally at the last tutorial of this section. It's been a long one, but let's wrap things up with a little bit of end state gameplay. That's going to connect our thinking about UI with our thinking about the actual, if I zoom back in down in here, with the actual capabilities of my player to shift objects around. And to get this up and running, I've built a little enclosure here using my regular non-movable walls, but inside of it, I've placed something that I've called a collection box. All this is a box. It's a cube that I've disabled the renderer so that it is simply just a collider with a rigid body inside of it. Now this rigid body, I've disabled gravity. Now I need the rigid body here so that the collisions can be triggered, but I don't want any gravity. I don't want this going anywhere, and it's not going to move anywhere. It's simply just there to serve as a trigger for an event. And the event is going to be that whenever my grass boxes get put inside of this sphere, I'm going to update my score and remove the object from the game, with the idea being that if I reach a certain score in the time frame I've been given, I win the level. So I'm kind of collecting this grass resource with some obstacles in the way. That's kind of the gameplay I've got up and running here for now, with a secret back gate if you want to sneak out the back and get there faster. And I'm sure you can come up with much more fun scenarios with a lot more game objects, but to keep it simple, we're just going to see how this works and how it's built. So let's actually see how it works right off the bat. Let's take the player, and we're going to shift the player ahead of these obstacles. Let's not waste any time kind of going through that early stage of the game. Drop the player in here, and we have this. Oh, I went backwards too quickly. Oh, no, what's happening? The camera is glitching because of what happens sometimes in my windowed mode when I'm recording. So ignore those weird physics behaviors. And as I push these boxes into the crate, they hit that little trigger range, disappear, and the score is updated by 10 each time. So I've gotten 960, and something else I coded in here, let's see if I can be skilled enough to hit it, is I need a score of 1,000 to be considered successful in this level. And here we go, I got it, and it says level 1. I could trigger the next level here. I just have this level 1 message popping up. So what is it that I've done to enable this? Well, the first place we want to look is at our prefabs, where the grass itself is slightly different. I think did I make any changes here? Maybe I didn't at all, actually. The grass is exactly the way that it started. It just gets auto-generated through that for loop that I showed you previously. And I manage this through the collection box itself, with the collection script having a grass collection script attached to it. I attach something called a score manager to the script. And if we look back into my hierarchy, I've created an empty object called score manager that I've added a script to called score manager. Let's see if we can make sense of how these things all interconnect here. This score manager is looking for score text, which is a text object that I've built into the UI that reports the score. Let me zoom out a bit here. Score 0. So I have the score up here, and that's based off of this text object just like previously. And so if I dive back into my regular game here, let's go back down to just Thor, so we're a little bit closer. We can see that my score manager has access to that score text with a connection. And what does it do? Well, it keeps track of a score as well as that text object, and has a method that can be triggered through an event, add score, some amount. It updates the score by that amount, and every time a score is added, it does two things. First, it updates the UI, where it takes this score text object and changes the text to have the updated values. Then it checks for the win condition. If my score that I've updated is above or equal to 1,000, then I simply just say level 1. So this score manager is able to process all of that logic within itself. It's the thing that does all the score updates, the UI updates, and the logic for the win state. But it's the collection box that actually tells the score manager when to update. You can see here that I have a connection point. The score manager of my object is connected to my grass collection. And in my grass collection, the score manager, which is the name of the script that I have in the score manager here, is connected. Whenever an on-trigger enter occurs, if that object is grass, I access my score manager and I run that method that I built. That add score. And then I destroy the object that I touched. And with these interconnecting pieces, I now have kind of an end win state for my game, where I have all sorts of systems running alongside one another. I have my movement system, I have my objects in range detection system, I have this invisible sphere, this telekinesis that allows me to apply a force to other objects. I can shoot them, shoot walls to break through. I can also shoot these to see their color change. Maybe I add something about that later in my game, or maybe you can think of a mechanic that would work with this. And now I try to wrangle all of these boxes, and I had a pretty good setup here, so I got a nice score really easily on this level. Other levels, maybe I make a lot more convoluted path or a lot less boxes or pieces of grass to put in. The sky's the limit for what you develop. Now I ran out of time because my game, I set it to 5 seconds again, but you can see here how I have a whole bunch of my systems now working together to create gameplay. And with the way this project's set up right now, it doesn't look like much, but all it really takes is the duplication of many of these objects and places to make a much more comprehensive gameplay experience that wouldn't take that long to build because all the individual pieces of logic are created. And again, my goal is to help set up all of the logic and then allow you to creatively design the games that support it. Best of luck. Looking forward to seeing what types of gameplay experiences you create using all of the systems we've covered in this very long series of tutorials. See you next time.